This is nice. I can't I maybe said that the last time as well, but welcome back. New season, new digs. Got a nice new spot working with our friends at 5 Pound and everything. How's it?
Our first shooting was back in last November. Yes, it was November.
Yes, it was.
Wow.
It's been a minute, right?
Yeah.
We've seen some things since then, for sure.
Oh, big time. I'm ready to kick off season 2 here.
Yeah. It already feels more relaxed, and that's weird coming from me because I only sat down once with you guys. You guys have been through loads of interviews at this point. How's life? What's at the front of your minds these days?
Yeah. Want to go first?
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. Wow. Front of our minds. Mm-hmm. Floods?
Okay.
I think that's a thing.
Yeah, it's got to suck.
Other than floods, wow, there's so much that has happened. I mean, I think we've gone through a transition here. Mm-hmm. I think I've gone through a transition physically, emotionally, mentally. One of the guys to thank is the guy next to me here. He inspired me.
Come on, say more.
Yeah. So Ali spoke to me about his journey earlier in the year and how he was going to be changing, his diet and physical training regimen and so on and so forth. And it's clearly visible, right? And he inspired me, actually. And I had to make a lot of changes in my life. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll touch on them today. Maybe I'll save them for another podcast. But I had to put a few things at bay and change. Not necessarily my priorities, but more of how I view myself, because I wasn't happy with myself. No. Yeah, I wasn't happy with always being a person that just worked and focused on one thing, and I kind of had tunnel vision. Mm-hmm. And outside of that, because of all the stress and the anxiety and the chaos I've created in my life, I was, trying to escape. So I was always trying to, I was the party guy, I liked partying. So I would go out all the time and, and do things with friends and, kind of live where I'm a professional, but at the same time, I'm also, still partying like I'm in my late 20s, early 30s, which is kind of pathetic.
All right.
And I'm going to be honest about it. So he very much inspired me. And, something as simple as starting my morning this morning and making sure I did it before coming in here was I had to go for a run just because, I'm doing 75 hard right now, which he did. I've changed the way I eat. I'm training with a ex-NHL player who's my personal trainer. Shout out to Brandon Reed at CM Fitness and Chris Morey. And that's pretty much it. But I'll definitely get into that. But I've had a complete shift this year in the way I do things and the way I live.
You seem quite zen. I don't know, your shoulders are a foot lower than they usually are kind of thing. You're just you seem quite chilled out.
I think that's the weight I've lost up here, maybe.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily being zen, but I think I've decided to be a little more spiritual and take things as they come rather than try to control everything,
The 75 hard movement isn't brand new. Obviously, I think it's new within our sphere because you did it, and I think you've inspired a few people to do it and whatnot, but it is so interesting because yes, it's quite physical. I think I'll ask you to explain exactly what it is in a second, but it is quite physical. I think a lot of people steer away from it because it's daunting to approach doing that much exercise and have that much sort of diligence and so on. But one thing that I've noticed in a lot of people who have finished it is this kind of quiet confidence that they walk around with afterwards, because all of a sudden you've unlocked something else in your mind where you have proven to yourself that you are capable of very hard things. And so it's I don't know, you not just you guys, but anyone who I know who's done it, your wife, for example, walk around different afterwards, where it's just sort of not superior, not any, it's this sexy indifference about someone where they're just kind of I did this thing.
To me, the 75 hard after finishing it represented consistency and discipline. Mm-hmm. And these are two things that I think most of us suffer from, right? It was a game changer.
For sure.
It was a game changer.
Yeah.
And I realized the power of staying consistent And even after I finished the 75 hard, there are a few things that I kept going, showing up to the gym almost every single day, watching what I'm eating, going to bed early, and all these things, doing them day in, day out. The impact is huge in the future. And that's one thing that I've realized. Now I know if you want something in life, you have to stay consistent and you have to stay disciplined. There's no other way.
Yeah.
There's no other way. You know,
Discipline's hard.
That's it. What
I feel like a lot of the time people are disciplined with the promise of being able to take a break. You
well,
know what
discipline
I mean?
equal freedom.
Yeah.
You want to be free, you have to be disciplined.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're gonna look back. Oh crap! I haven't done this. But you've been talking about it like for the past 5, 6 years, 7 years. We're talking about you turning 40 soon, right?
No, I'm not.
And one thing when I turned 40, like something really hit me hard is like time is going by so fast.
Yeah.
And you talk a great game, you talk about all these things you want to do, and each year you audit yourself, well, you haven't done most of them.
And that's something we were talking about before, isn't it? Like, as you get older, prioritizing different things, or different things are more important to you now. And that was one of the things for me, time, like where I spend my time, how I spend it, what I'm doing, who I'm spending it with is like so much more important. I don't want to waste any time. And not even because I have it in like my mind, like, well, I'm turning 40, I'm going to die soon. That's not my mindset at all. But it's just like, I don't know, I guess like quality over quantity, I suppose.
Well,
where it's
you
just like,
start to evaluate
moments.
what's important to you versus not,
Yeah.
right? That's one.
That and like, I want to, not all the time, but like, I want to do things that I will be proud of myself for doing. That kind of stuff. That's where like exercise comes into that and stuff like that. But also saying yes to things that are a bit scary, or just like, you know, keeping my eyes open for experiences that might come my way that not everyone has the opportunity to take, that kind of stuff. I want to make memories and like, you know, have things that I can look back on that were amazing, or like, you know, have a nice story to tell, or have a live a life whereby people will enjoy telling that story as well, type deal. I just like, yeah, I don't want to spend my time doing not much.
I think that applies to everything. I think when you get to a certain point in your life, you also start evaluating, you know how you said quality over quantity. It's your quality of friends over quantity as well.
Yeah.
You know, I was recently talking to someone and he looks at me and he goes, let me ask you a question. How many of friends do you have, or how many friends are there in your life that you can be completely vulnerable with, call at any time, and rely on no matter what? And I said less than 3.
Wow. That's where I feel very rich, because it's not like I got 20, but I probably got like 5 or 6.
That's amazing.
Sisters excluded. And
Yeah.
it like, just in you saying that, I'm like, my God, my poor friends.
Yes.
Like the sheer amount that like I'll like just offload onto them. But at the same time, like, because it's mutual within our friends, like, I don't think that feels like work to them. I hope it doesn't. My God, tell me.
So have you ever felt, and I've tapped into this very much so over the past few years, have you ever realized that when you're around certain people in life, you leave completely drained, exhausted?
An energy sucker. Yeah.
Exactly. And they take from you more than you get from them. And then what happens is when you're around certain people, like case in point, when I'll have lunch with Ali or I'll get together with Justin at the office,
They fill your cup.
I leave and I'm like, I'm ready to run through a wall. I'm going to start the carnivore diet. I'm going to do 75 hard. I'm going to add this marketing to my business. And what happens
do all
is,
of those except running through a wall. Don't
yeah,
do
exactly.
that.
I don't run through a wall. I do run 5K.
Fine, good.
My pace is a bit slow, but I don't run through a wall. So what happens is I've evaluated in life that there's certain people that not only did they suck my energy and completely deflate me when I was around them, whether it's other couples or a certain subsector of friends. But what happens is, even if I see a text message or like a phone call from them, I go like,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Because it's drama, it's negativity, it's something. So how does that fuel your day? You know, we don't wake up every morning. Maybe some people do. Maybe we don't wake up every morning and eat like a glazed donut with like a Pepsi and have a cigarette, right?
And that would be the life.
So
Minus
why
the
would
cig.
you exactly? So why would you do that on a you know, relationship level and allow this into your life to start your day with?
Poison.
Complete poison. So you need to be careful with what you put in your body, but what you surround your body with. And the older I get, the more I realize this. And, you know, I'm not sitting here and trying to be a philosopher, but I mean, you kind of start realizing in life that, is it going to be worth it? Like Ali said, you know, 5-6 years from now to look back and say coulda, shoulda, woulda, when you could look back and be like, I did that. I started associating with different types of people. I'm glad I was breaking bread and, you know, doing a podcast and hanging out with Ali, because it helped me get fit. It helped me with my mental attitude. It helped me with my emotional state, and so on and so forth. You know, I remember him telling me, we were out once and he said, you know, you constantly bring back 2015 as the year that you had a great year in your business. It was kind of like a launching pad to your career. Plus, you were in the best shape of your life. Why don't you tap into that energy again?
I do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I like live in the rear view where I reflect all the time.
Yeah.
But it's frustrating because like if I put that much effort or that much sort of like, I'll say effort into remembering what was great before into what could be great ahead, I'd be living a completely different life. I lived overseas for 10 years and it was incredible. It was really, truly amazing. And I was so excited to move back. But then I was left with this sort of like, is my peak behind me? Like, are my best days over now? And it's just like, because it's a question, you don't have this like, I don't know, like I had no idea what was ahead of me. And you've got people that you love, like these friends that like, you know, that you really trust their opinion and everything like that, where they're just sort of like, best days are yet to come. And I'm like, but how do you know? I guess because like reflecting, I've got tangible like evidence that it was great, and I can't look into the future and be like, well, that's about to happen, so I know it's going to be great kind of thing. So I guess the fear of the unknown sort of cripples me a little in that respect.
Well,
but
what's going to be great in the future, or the good things that are going to happen in the future are basically are a byproduct of what you're doing today. And that's the other thing. We tend to think about the future a lot. We think about the past, how many mistakes we've made, this and that, and we tend to forget to live the moment and just do the right thing today. Every morning you wake up, you have a new opportunity to lead a good life, to change your habits and make it better. And by doing this every single day, the future will look and be bright.
you can't change the future. You can't do anything about it. It
And that's
hasn't happened
exactly
yet,
it.
right? Like
Yeah.
this could all go, pardon my French,
And
but
the
this
other
could all
thing
go tits up
too-
tomorrow. Like we don't know.
Also, like, you know, we launched this podcast and the theme is like what it means to live a better life. For me personally, it was a great exercise doing season 1 and the guests that we have interviewed. And I reflected on a few episodes that we filmed. I said, Ali, like, you're doing this podcast, what it means to live a better life. Are you living a better life yourself first? So that's when the whole 75 hard started. And also I went to Morocco in January to see my brother. And we were talking about the podcast, about the theme. And then he asked me the question, are you living a better life really? You know, can you write down things that you enjoy, things that you don't enjoy? And
It's not a simple question.
It's not a simple question,
It isn't.
no.
It's very easy to ask somebody else, like, what do you think it is? Or what do you think it means to live a good life? I think you almost have to prepare for it. Like even in just like preparing for this conversation that we were going to have today, I had never asked myself, like I challenged you guys with it in the first episode 1, season 1, but I'd never asked myself the question. I'm sitting there like, oh my God, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I wrote out like a paragraph, like there were so many things. And I was like, I can't boil it down to one point. Like I can't, it's a really
there is no
difficult question.
blueprint, right? There is no blueprint. I mean, it's we tend to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Influenced by people how to do things.
I
But there is no
so
wrong things.
easily influenced.
And
It's
we're
insane.
all.
Yeah.
We're all. I mean, we're all go and seek like a life coach or a business coach, thinking that they are gonna give you that magic pill that you're looking for. But it starts within you. Yeah. On what you're doing today, the action that you're applying. And these are things that we tend to forget about.
I think that's the beauty of life coaches as well, because like we were saying this before, I have one. Yes. I love her. She's a wonderful human. But I think you sort of speak to a life coach because you're looking for the answers. And then in speaking to them, they just ask you a bunch of questions. They don't tell you anything. They ask you questions to show you that you yourself have the answers. And sometimes it's really difficult where it's, well, a lot of the time it's really difficult where they're just sort of like, they'll sit there, they'll silence you out, where it's just like they ask a question, you're not allowed to say, I don't know. And they'll just sort of be like, okay, or maybe I'll ask the question in a different way, but it's like you're looking for the answers, and all the while they're just sort of like, you tell me kind of thing. That's why it's such an incredible exercise. I encourage anybody who's been thinking about getting a life coach to do it. Do it once, because it's like, it's
so
great.
Talk to me through the exercise. Okay, so you're talking to her, she's asking you a lot of questions.
Oh my God, I'll take you through this top to bottom.
Yeah.
Does she provide you with solutions, or she gives you like strategies that you can follow? Or
a lot of it is strategy. So before our first meeting, she gave me 2 exercises to do. One with our team at work, I've done it before just because, like, even if you want to do it off the cuff, it's amazing. It's called the life wheel, or the wheel of life.
Okay.
And it is a circle divided into a bunch of sections, and each section is named something. You can name each section whatever you want, but typically it's like sections of your life. So it'll be finances, career, relationships, health and fitness, spirituality. You name them, you can name them. And then in each section of that pie, let's say, you rank each thing on a scale of 1 to 10 where you're at. In my career, I feel like I'm an 8 out of 10. In my relationships, and that can be like, it can be sort of like personal like your friendships. It can be like your marriage, whatever it is. You rank yourself in that. I'm at a 9, whatever. And then you go through the whole thing, and you ask yourself, what do I need in each of these to make it a 10? And that sort of creates a bit of a to-do list.
Okay.
And then there was another, and then together you go through it, and she's just equipped with a subset of questions that blow your mind, and then you leave there feeling great. It's like setting you on a path where you're just like, I'm going to do this, and you leave with homework, and then you come back and you talk about it, and this, that, and the other. Another thing that she gave me, which I found impossible to do, is an exercise called Be, Do, Have. So whereas the wheel of life is very much like a right now question, right now, how do you feel your career is, your relationships, your finances, spirituality, whatever. Whereas Be, Do, Have is think about your future life in 2, 5, and 10 years, which already I find difficult to do. There's no wrong answer. What do you want to be? What do you want to do? And what do you want to have? And you have to fill each of those columns with like at least 15 things a piece. And I was like, what? I was like, I can't do that. And it even says, it's like, take a week, write things down, scratch them out, come back, scratch them out again, add more things, put question marks next to them. It doesn't matter. But in 2, 5, and 10 years, what do you want to be? What do you want to do? And what do you want to have? And you're like, well, Christ. And then she will take you through matching the 2. She'll take the things you want to be and then sort of cross-reference that with the things that you put in your life wheel. And she's like, well, these don't really match up. How is this that important to you when your relationships are at a 9 kind of thing? You're like, I don't know kind of thing. So it's just like, it's this incredible, you find after like an hour, she'd said to me at the beginning of one of our conversations, she was like, if at any point you just get like a bit like emotionally or energy, like exhausted kind of thing, just let me know. And I was like, I'm good for days. Let's go. An hour in, I was like, I'm toast. I got nothing left for you. I'm really sorry. She was like, it makes a lot of sense. We've done a lot of good work. I was like, I didn't know. But yeah, I highly recommend.
So that's like manifestation, Be, Do, Have. I want to be this. I want to do this. I want to have this. And it's kind of like bringing it to yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and you're kind of, writing down all of your goals, aspirations, but at the same time, by writing them down and envisioning them, or, spiritually guiding yourself and gravitating towards them, there's a better chance you're going to, have those, especially when you have a plan for life. Yeah. But the thing is, you can plan for life all you want. God forbid something can happen to us tomorrow. And
life's going to happen to you no matter what.
Life's going to happen no matter what, right? So sometimes, you plan for tomorrow, but you forget to live for today. And that's another thing that I've struggled with, is not being grounded and not being in the moment, especially when you have kids and a family, and you're living life for kind of everyone else, but at the same time you're constantly living in the future.
Yeah.
You know, I need to, make sure that I have a retirement fund, and I need to buy investments, and I need to do this and that. Well, who knows if I'm going to live to 60,
Jesus.
But then everything goes back to today. Like, today's action will dictate what your future is going to look like, right?
100%.
So you can have the best life coach, the best business coach. They can give you all the tricks and the guidance that you need.
Yeah.
And a lot of them out there, they're good. But if you don't apply the work every single day, you won't be getting where you want.
And I feel like
this is one thing that I think, I struggled with for a long time, and I'm still struggling with it. I'm not gonna tell you, oh, I'm perfect. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm working on things every single day. But to me, motivation is BS.
Wow.
Discipline is a key.
I need motivation in order to be disciplined. Personally, I need like a crew of people telling me I can do it. Like, if I think specifically in the gym, for example, I wish I was, but I'm not the person who can just go to a gym by myself, be self-motivated to just like get it done to the best of my ability. I need the energy of people around me. I need a class. I need to be bouncing off of another person when they can see that I'm about to pass out because I'm working so hard, kind of thing, where even if they just sort of say like, you got this kind of thing, I'm like, I've got this. And it helps me so much. That keeps me coming back. But it's interesting to hear that motivation is BS.
But listen, no, every day we wake up in the morning and feel, oh, I'm excited to go on work.
Yeah.
But you still have to go on work. Otherwise, you will be fired.
Fair.
Same thing for your personal thing, whether you want to go to the gym or movement and eating healthy. It has to be part of our daily routine. That's the only way we can keep moving.
And it's interesting too, because just like putting in the work looks different depending on like the person that you're talking to. And I feel like if we look back at all of the different types of personalities and walks of life and career paths that the people who we interviewed in season 1 took, putting in the work is totally different for each one of them. And they've all got such incredible stories.
Yes.
And we learned so much from them. Well, I did. I'm sure you guys did. I know you did. We've spoken about it. But now that we have a whole season under our belt, did it go the way you thought it would, season 1?
Yeah, I think it went well.
Yeah.
It went well. I again, as I said, like I learned a lot from the people we have interviewed, and I thank every one of them who came to join us in this podcast, and they took the time to share their stories and where they're at. But it's a journey for all of us. I hope that the podcast will only get better. We're gonna have more interesting guests, and we'll continue to inspire and also grow through this journey, all of us, and inspire people who need to be inspired. That's the whole idea.
Yeah. Even just like for me, none of us have done a podcast before.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, you guys hadn't been hosts before. I've never been a producer before. And I was thinking about sort of like goals for this podcast. Like, it sort of leads into the next question I'm going to ask you guys, which is why. But I'm sort of thinking about the goal that I personally have as a producer for this, where it's like, one of mine is to make sure you guys reach your goals with it. But another one is just to sort of make sure that we're putting something out there that if it entertains, motivates, inspires, educates even one person, I'm just sort of like, we did it. That's great. Or just, sort of encourages people to just add this podcast to their rotation. Because, we're complex human beings. We're going to listen to a lot of different things that will tick a lot of different boxes internally. Because I personally think perhaps I'm biased, but having conversations with you guys, whether on or off set, they're always good. They always end up going on like at least an hour and a half longer than we thought they would. And we're just sort of like, we're late. We got to go kind of thing. So I just think that's my hope for it type deal. What's your why for season 2? Why do you want to keep this thing going? Why did you want to start it in the least? Like, do you have an ultimate goal for this podcast?
I think the why for us is still the same, and it's to apply the question to the podcast every day, which is, what does it mean to live a better life? And to, practice what we preach. We're going to live a good life, having the podcast, I can personally say that if I have an episode come out and no one watches it except us, it doesn't matter to me, because for me, it's helped me get to a better place mentally and physically, because I wanted to feel and look better on camera. I'm not going to lie about it. Of course I do. It's human nature to. But on top of that, I knew by adding this podcast to my already intensive workload, I needed to be as fit mentally, emotionally, and physically as possible to have the stamina, the energy, and the brain power to do this on a 9 a.m. Shoot, Thursday morning or whatever, and then go about business for the rest of the day. And the why is pretty much to. I remember when we first had the idea to start it, and we were having lunch, and the question we both had is there has to be more than just
wake up, grind, repeat.
Exactly. And by God's grace, Ali and I were very lucky, him with his partner Chris, and me myself with my wife works for me, and we have a team. I'm able to get to a point now in my career where I can, and maybe I'm not speaking on behalf of Ali, but personally, like, there's certain things in the business I could do with my eyes closed now. It's that term they use. They say, well, you didn't pay me to do your job in 30 minutes. You paid me to learn how to do this in 30 minutes, which took 15 years to learn. Right? So I could do a lot of things with my eyes closed, and it's becoming like second nature to me now. So we're able to invest time and energy into a podcast, and bring the brand and M together and do this. And the why has always been the same, which is, meet new people, understand what it means to live a good life for them, learn from them, grow our networks, and of course, improve our own lives. I think that's the biggest thing for me. I'm huge on self-improvement. In fact, when I walk into like Indigo chapters, I'm like straight to the self-improvement section.
Are you?
Oh yeah, huge.
I am straight to fiction.
Yeah, so I'm straight to self-improvement, and I'm straight to biographies.
Okay.
Yeah, autobiographies, biographies. So for me, it's more about learning how other people got from point A to point B, or how I can get from point A to point B to point C, and learning from other people and their stories, or someone telling me how I can do it.
Yeah.
I've always been someone that loved improving every aspect of my life. And one thing I've learned by, working out with a personal trainer this summer and changing my habits and the way I eat and what I feed my body and my mind every single day, including starting every morning with my prayer and my meditation and my yoga, is that no matter what you do, you can never, ever, ever in life stay where you are. Like you're going to get run over.
What is it? There's like a quote there where it says the only constant thing in life is change.
100%. Yeah. And taxes, but that's for another day.
Death and taxes? What's it? Yeah. Anyways, I don't think.
Yeah,
anyways,
yeah. Death and taxes, the two guarantees of life. I mean, that's the way I look at it. And
I also don't know if I just quoted Winston Churchill or Yoda. It's one of the two.
One or the other. I don't know. That's for me. How about you, Ali?
The goal is to create a learning platform that we can all benefit from as we progress. We're gonna have the ability to attract, guests from different fields, and having discussions about things that we all ask every single day, right? Well-being, mental health, being an entrepreneur, being in a relationship. These are the things that we're looking to tap into and discuss and expand on. And through the process, it makes me and him and you and everyone to learn. And if you earn one or two tips and you can apply it to yourself, you're going to be ahead. So that's the whole idea, is to educate and have fun while doing it.
Yeah. I think there's something to be said about, like, not to sort of like diminish who we are, but like normal people having these conversations.
That's right.
Because like a lot of the podcasts that I listen to are like, they're all celebrities. They're either like millionaires or people who are on TV or people who are like professionals in like what they do and everything, which of course you're going to listen to. Of course, it's incredibly interesting. But sometimes it's hard for me to put myself in their positions because I am not a millionaire. I am not a professional in the field that they're listening to. I'm not a celebrity kind of thing. And a lot of the time I take my cues from the people that I see all the time, from my friends, from my family, the people that I'm on a level with. To me, this is sort of like a platform whereby we can sort of increase that pool of human beings type deal.
And doing it while staying authentic.
Yeah,
I think when we lose our authenticity, we tend to be less happier.
Yeah.
Right. Even I can probably like at work when I'm myself and I'm being very authentic. It doesn't matter how challenging the transaction is. I remain very happy. I stay zen because I know I'm doing the right thing. Whether you like my opinion or not, that's on you. You hired me as a professional. I will always tell you how it is. Same thing doing a podcast. I think it's very important that all of us stay authentic. Otherwise, we're gonna lose the reason why we're doing it.
Yeah, you've got to give your audience some credit, right? Like they can suss it out if someone's faking it, if someone's pretending or whatever. Like there's smart people that we talk to every day. Like a sixth sense is a real thing. You know what I mean? Like someone can tell if someone's just like, I don't know you, but that's not you. It can't be you. No one's like that type deal. You know, It's like people understand it and they'll sniff it out in a second kind of thing.
Yeah. I think it's this year we'll also have a lot of guests lined up that, will share their stories and their life with us. But at the same time, we will also tap into, the struggles people have gone through, because we all go through struggles. Anyone that says they don't have struggles or they don't have, issues with different types of emotions or family issues, or it can be anything. I mean, it's wrong. I mean, because that's the problem in the society we live in right now, is that social media has made everything so fake on a social media and technology level that people are leading fake lives as well. So it's like what they see on social media is one thing, but they're not only being fake on social media, they're being fake everywhere because they need to kind of live up to this, facade. And it's so exhausting.
It's exhausting. It's also oddly entertaining. And so that person who's being really fake, they gain a lot of followers, a lot of shares, and a lot of comments and stuff because people love making fun of them. And there's this weird sort of thing where it's like, likes equal popularity or equal good or whatever, so people will continue being super fake and laughable type deal because they think that's actually a good thing. Or maybe they don't think it's a good thing, but they just see that it's getting a response and they'll keep going with it kind of thing. And 9 times out of 10, if it's someone that you know in your personal life who is like that, you'll know that off screen that person or off Instagram that person is like super chill, like really hilarious and like quite down to earth and stuff. You normally prefer that version.
And I think we need to be so mentally strong in our business that at the end of the day, we become vulnerable too as professionals. And what happens is, I'll give you an example. You need to be so strong in this business that when we're working, I think we are the only profession in the world where you do all of the work, and then once all of the work is done, you only get paid at the end. And sometimes you never get paid. People don't realize that, People don't realize that. You do all this work and the client decides, you know what? I woke up on the other side of the bed this morning and I'm going to give the listing to my sister-in-law. And I'm going to price it at the price you originally suggested. How does a professional like myself who's running a business in Ali take that? How do we deal with it? Because we still need to get up, go to the gym, take care of our families, answer to all of our other clients, and still live a life where we invested all this time and money with this client. However, they just wake up on one side of the bed and say, you know what?
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. We're going to go in a totally different direction, and we're actually going to take your advice, but with someone else.
Yeah.
So we need to be so mentally strong and emotionally fit on a daily basis. And the way to do that is learn from others, ask them what it means to live a good life for them, take care of our mental health, take care of our emotional health, and take care of our physical health. Because I am living proof of this, that if you do not feel good physically, you feel horrible mentally and emotionally. Horrible.
But the mental aspect is a key element. I think I said this before with, I think we had Curtis Killen in the podcast. People are very successful. Well, you don't have to have the highest IQ. You don't have to be the smartest person in the room. But if you are able to handle stress at every level,
that was such,
and stay calm while you're doing it,
yeah,
trust me, you will be very successful.
Yeah, for sure.
It's people who don't have the ability to manage the stress are the ones who get into burnout and failure.
Yeah.
And to his point of being the smartest person in the room, I hope I never am. Then what?
You're in the wrong room.
You're in the wrong room. Get out.
Right.
The minute I've been in rooms where, I'm not going to self-proclaim that I was the smartest, but when I'm in certain rooms where the people in that room are not in alignment with who I am or the way I think life is or should be for me, like, those are the rooms I leave from and I feel completely drained, exhausted. I hate being in those rooms.
Get out.
Yeah.
Now that we've got a full season done and we've spoken to a bunch of incredible people, really inspirational and like genuinely lovely human beings, so lucky, like what a lineup we had for the first season, after hearing from them and how they describe what it means to live a good life, has it changed your definition of what it means to live a good life?
In a certain way, yes, it did for me.
Same way?
Yeah. Again, it allowed me to go and audit myself, really. I mean, after having those conversations with certain individuals, I took the time to reflect, okay, how can I apply this to myself? Hence why I've started this, personal growth and health journey this year. And so far it's been good.
Nice.
Yeah.
How about you, Ray?
I think that it's completely changed the way I view things on a daily basis. And I also did a self-audit, one of the benefits of, speaking to and, talking to or having a coffee with like-minded individuals is that you start applying certain things to your life that they do, and then they might apply certain things to their life that you did. And for me, it was, the definition for me to live a good life is very simple. It's freedom. If I'm free up here and I'm free in my body, I know I'm living a good life in alignment with my values and who I am. And the reason for that is very simple. When you have freedom, you tend to be happier. Why are most people that kind of work 9-to-5 jobs that, have to be at a desk all day, punch a card or so on and so forth, are usually the ones that are more susceptible to complaining about the traffic or their jobs. They're not necessarily free, They have to ask their boss if they can, go for a smoke if they smoke, or, ask for a vacation when, their wife's vacation is already approved. Certain things like that. So for me, freedom comes from, it could be financial freedom. It can be free to do what you want when you want. I think doing what you want when you want with who you want is the true definition of success. If I can wake up on Tuesday morning and be like, you know what, I'm going to go for coffee, maybe play golf this morning, do a little bit of work in the afternoon, and then this evening I'm going out for dinner with my wife. To me, that might be freedom, but to someone else, that might not be attainable. They might not be able to do that. They might not have the luxury to do that. But life might look different for them. So to answer your question, yes, it's completely changed the way I view things because I've taken care of my mental and physical health. I've put it first. Doing 75 hard for me, and I'm only, 55 days in, so I have about 3 weeks left. Doing 75 hard for me, what it did for me was it gave me confidence, more confidence, and it also gave me discipline. But at the same time, I was able to every single day put myself first. So whenever I woke up in the morning, I knew that if I don't start drinking water so I can get to a gallon, read 10 pages minimum, plus get my workout in all before at least 9:30, 10 a.m., I'm off track today.
Yeah.
So the morning meeting sometimes had to get pushed, or the the coffee with my wife or the walk in the morning might have to be delayed to later in the evening.
Yeah.
But that's because I had to put myself first, and it allowed me to be a better version of myself. And by putting myself first, the whole analogy of put your mask on first so you can take care of the passenger next to you. In order to take care of your clients, your loved ones, your colleagues, your friends, you need to take care of yourself. It's so important. And I've come to learn that through the process of this podcast, trying to be the best version of myself physically and mentally. And I think this is just the beginning. I mean, this is really a passion project, like we said off air.
Yeah.
It's a huge passion project for me. I'm sure for Ali as well.
So lucky.
And we're so excited because if we are able to get every guest that I have in mind this year on, I think there's going to be a lot of different types of people from different walks of life with different stories to share, and
so
it's going to be great.
Without giving too much away then, what can people expect from season 2?
Ali?
Go through the guest list.
I would love to go through the guest list, but a lot of them are not confirmed yet. So I think that we are going to focus on a lot of success stories. We're going to try to tap into the Montreal scene and
local stories.
Local stories. What has happened with locally during the summer. People that have started businesses from nothing. People that have started businesses in their homes, and now they're multi-million dollar businesses, $100 million businesses across North America. And just understand local entrepreneurs, what it means to live a good life for them. And like we did in the first season, it's, 1 week it might be a psychologist, and then the next week it might be a physical trainer or like a personal trainer.
Yeah.
So we are really going to try to, share people's journey, people's stories. And, like I said from the beginning, I don't think our intention was to talk about home inspections and mortgages, right?
No, at all.
We didn't want to be, there might be an episode with, where we incorporate, real estate professionals and colleagues of ours that will join us on this podcast. But I think there's a lot of that out there. So how many people want to hear about, amortizations and interest rates going down?
Listen, we'll put a poll out. I think at the end of the day, real estate is what you guys do for a living. It isn't necessarily like who you are as people. You're complex human beings. So to say that there will be nothing real estate wouldn't be realistic, but it certainly isn't the focus. That's for sure. No. I think we've done a very good job of talking. I did want to leave it on one thing. You made me think, because you have both quoted people that we saw in season 1. Is there one quote from one person in particular that really stands out for you from last season? I have one, and it was very easy for me to think about it.
Me too.
Wow, that is such a good question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That is a very good question. Wow.
You can go last if you want.
I'm probably not going to go. I don't know if I have this. There was so many, but
go
ahead.
The one, it was from Mariella Katz.
Okay.
It was simple. Don't be apologetic.
Ooh.
Wow, that is so true.
Yeah.
That is so true.
I mean, she said it like that was the first thing she said. Like, you asked her what it means to live a good life, and her answer was that.
Don't be apologetic.
Yeah.
I learned early on in my career, it's similar to that, but it was don't feel the need to justify anything. A lot of people will start an email where it's just sort of like, hi, I'm just asking this because XYZ. I don't put those in my emails or in my conversations at all. I do the thing that I say I was going to do, and I don't justify it because I feel like it's right. And it's not mean or like anything like that, but it's just like I don't have to apologize. I don't have to. I'm so sorry for asking you this question. So I love that one. Mine was from Notary Mattia Puccio. She said, and I might botch this, but something to the tune of, if you want to get something done, give it to a mother with her hands full.
That is so true.
Yeah.
Goosies.
Yeah.
It's true. And like,
it's an old say, like, you want something to be done, give it to a busy person.
Yeah.
They will find a way to do it.
For sure.
Right? It's
already in that like mindset, but it's true. And I think coming from her as well, it's like so true. I've seen her work. She's insane. She's
amazing.
Such an impressive human being, and she won't let you tell her kind of thing. But give
Yeah.
it to a mother with her hands
That's
full.
why I work with her. She's amazing.
Yeah,
and
she's
it was
great.
such a pleasure to have her on the podcast. I can't remember there were so many amazing guests. I can't think of a quote, but I can tell you the things I've learned from different people.
Yeah.
You know, whether it was Kevin, the personal trainer who taught me that, having a workout in the morning completely fasted is better than eating because, hunters don't eat before they hunt kind of thing.
Wow.
You kind of like have to earn the meal.
I remember him saying something a lot. He blew my mind when he was talking about, what did he say? Something like his wife managed to quit smoking based on like cold showers.
Yes.
Cold
Yes.
showers helped her quit smoking. I was like,
And he also said, another good thing Kevin said was, it was very interesting. He said people that wake up and they decide to have a smoke with a Pepsi and go to get a donut,
dopamine hits.
constantly give themselves dopamine hits early in the morning, and they continuously look for that throughout the day, rather than starting your morning with something that's a natural dopamine hit and then kind of like earning everything throughout your day. So it comes down to human psychology, right? But there are so many things that I learned, whether it was from Mariella or, Marianne Van Owen and Kevin and
And by the way,
Curtis.
Kevin launched his own podcast.
Did he?
2 months after he was a guest.
We'll have
at
to
our
get you guys
podcast.
on there.
Yeah.
Yes, and his podcast basically it's a platform that discusses they talk about longevity and what it means to actually live a healthy life, and so some good content there.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone. I would love to see if we can sort of do a check-in with everybody.
That's right.
That we did from the first season, because I'm like genuinely interested in how they all are. Like Eamon, what a guy! Like
Yeah.
he was so amazing. I could have listened to him talk for days.
Yeah.
Like so, yeah. I think we're
I'd like
super lucky to have them all.
if possible, at some point you have like a round table,
Fine.
but have like 3 individuals like Kevin, Marianne, and a third person. So exactly.
So basically, life coach, psychologist, and personal trainer.
Just leave the camera running and
Yes.
leave the room.
Yeah, leave
Like,
them in the
it'd be
room.
amazing.
Yeah.
Some of them might contradict one another,
That's
or,
right.
or be from a different school of thought, but that's what makes a podcast.
That's right.
You can't agree on everything.
No,
That's right.
No, that's a boring podcast.
Yeah, yeah.
But
yeah.
this has been a pleasure once again. We definitely need to make this a consistent thing with yourself.
Fun.
That's right.
It's not
Thanks.
something that I want to just start every season with. I think we need to make this a thing.
I'll
I
check
remember
in halfway
the
through.
first time I was nervous.
Yes.
I was bloody nervous first time.
Yeah, he was. He was actually, he was very nervous the first episode we ever. And I told him, I remember before the camera started rolling, I said, "Don't worry about it, man. Be yourself. Just think of that first listing
Yeah.
appointment you went
That's
to
exact-
in your career."
Yeah.
And I gotta say, the guy crushed it, man.
I don't know why I just pictured like a 10-year-old Allie going to a listing appointment. I was like, no,
10 years
it
old.
makes no sense. Small little child Allie.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a real pleasure. I think season 2 is going to be great. It's going to be completely different. From my energy today, I think it'll be more relaxed. Maybe
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's. I think this is just the beginning. I think we have a lot of great ideas,
Yes.
and we're going to take it from there.
So excited for it.
Love
What a
it.
privilege. Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today.
Hey, thank
Yes,
you.
thank you.
Hopefully I'll see you 1 or 2 times before the next one.
100% you will.
And shout out to 5 Pound Media for setting this up. We
And
have
for this
our
couch.
podcast
It was
studio.
so cozy.
Yeah, we have our podcast studio here on Saint Ambroise, and it's going to be beautiful to come here and shoot during the fall and the winter months. And they're a great
Well,
team.
thankfully I will get to sit on that side for the rest of the
Yes,
year.
yes,
Really
yes.
nice.
And they're a great team to work with. You know,
Yeah.
everything's so seamless.
Couldn't agree more.
Perfect.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks.